Hello, Dorota. It's so good to see your face. I'm so happy to be with you today.
Thank you. I'm really pleased to be with you as well.
I know that you were there over in Findhorn in Scotland, and I know that it's a gale. You were saying that it's not the best weather out there at the moment. But I really wanted to touch base with you because, what I've been asking facilitators and presenters is what did you run into in a time where self-nurture had to come first? What happened for you, and sort of what what kind of payoffs and what kind of hurdles did you face as you wanted to put self-nurture to the top of your list?
Well, it's a great question. I have to say that right now I'm experiencing a great need for self-nurture. I'll tell you where I am. I'm in an eco house in the eco village in Findhorn. And the reason that I'm here is that something very magical happened. A friend of mine um, has offered me a house to come and live in for 2 weeks. So I'm in this gorgeous house, and my family have come to see me here, and they don't know where anything is. So as I'm speaking to you, they're wandering aimlessly through the rooms, and, and I'm sort of aware that I could easily get very distracted because I want to tell them to go away and find out what they need. And then I realized this is actually the primal thing about self-nurture, and it's about creating a sort of beautiful curtain around yourself so that other people can take care of their own needs, and then that we can take care of our own needs. And as my mother said to me when I was very ill one day and I really had to go to the bathroom, and she said, darling, this is something you have to do for yourself. It's not something anyone else can do for you. So there's been many times in my life where I realized that I am the only one that can really take care of myself at a very fundamental level. And right now is one of them as well. So what
That's
I'm doing,
great.
I've just said to everyone, just go away. I need to be right here, right now, because I'm with you.
Yeah, that is such a key skill to be able to have as well. Thanks for really pointing to that. And can you talk about some of the payoffs of putting yourself first that way?
Well, I'm going to be 60 years old in November, and I am still working in various capacities, but I don't feel 60 years old. I feel as if I have the energy of such younger, and I'm often told that's the case. I feel really radiant, and I feel as if I have a very high vibration. I feel a great deal of joy just flooding my body on a daily basis, and I feel immense gratitude for the life that I have. And I said to somebody, I'm very, very lucky. And my friend said to me, no, you're not very lucky. You worked for this. You earned it. You're the one that made it happen. And often when I run a workshop and I ask people afterwards why they came to my particular workshop, they always quote that Meg Ryan line in Sleepless in Seattle, where the people in the restaurant are watching a woman apparently having an orgasm, and when the waitress comes up, they say, I want some of what she's having. So that's often, what people say about me. We want some of what she's having. So clearly that self-nurture has had that payoff.
Well, that's great. Yeah, it's definitely an inside job, isn't it?
Absolutely. You're so right.
Yeah, pretty good scene in that movie too, I have to say. One of the classics. So, yeah, I guess I'll invite you then to move into the more practice portion of this and really tuning into sort of communion with other living things. And a lot of that happens at Findhorn, I know, and I just want to tap into some of that with you here today. That energy that's happening right there with you and on the land. If I can turn it over to you to lead
Sure.
something there, that would be good.
Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Thanks, Dorota.
So I'll make a little bit of a context first. So Findhorn officially started in 1963, where a very small group of people came here and started meditating together. And they really had no money. They decided to grow their own food, and they didn't know how to grow their own food. Well, they were meditating with each other, and they started to meditate with the plants. And in those communications with the plants, they began to hear from the plants about what the plants needed, what the plants wanted. And the result was the magical Findhorn garden, which which ended up, you know, really changing this whole place, changing the world in many ways, because there's been so many places that have been inspired by that initial co-creation with nature. So when we are working in the garden, we are, you know, we're communicating with the plants, with the flowers, with the vegetables, and with the trees. So I'd really like to lead us through an exercise which would assist to attune your energies, or pay your attention at the very least to the trees. So right now I'm in the dune lands in Findhorn, where there are gorse bushes and pine trees all around me, and because of the fierce scale around us, they're really moving. It looks like there's a population of people out there dancing. It's not very hard to think of a tree as a living being like us when we see it dancing like that in the wind. So what I invite you to do, as you've said, Shealagh, it is an inside job. So I'd like to invite you to bring your attention to yourself inside. And if it helps, to close your eyes and to calm your thoughts by paying attention to your breathing. And just be aware of your breathing. And if you can, to make a deliberate choice to slow your breathing down and to deepen your inhale and to slow your exhale. And in doing that, we create a clearing in our minds. And I'd like to invite you to imagine a tree that was important to you. It could have been a tree that you spent a lot of time with in your childhood, or a tree that you particularly remember from your past. Or it could well be a tree that's close to you, maybe a tree in your garden or where you live, or something you can see from here, but just a tree. And I'd like you to imagine what that tree looks like. So in your own head, to identify the size, the shape, the colors, the leaves, and really look at how the branches are shaped, how they grow up in towards the sky, and then follow those branches in your mind's eye back into the trunk, into that one big solid trunk, and see that trunk going down, down, down towards the ground. And again, in your imagination, imagine how much further down in the root system that tree goes down, how far and wide those roots spread, and how each tiny little root is sucking in from the earth all the moisture that it needs, all the minerals, and it's also sucking in all the messages from round about it, the chemical messengers that come from the other life forms, from the mycelium, the mushroom roots, the fungi roots, and from the other trees and bushes, from all the other life forms that are sending their roots down, down, far, far down into the earth. And you can really get a sense of the community of life forms that are under the surface of the earth. The wide-ranging, diverse, communicative life forms that are all assisting each other, replenishing each other, supporting each other. So you can imagine that all the life energy that's being drawn through these roots is being drawn up, back into the trunk of the tree. And then, like an enormous pump, it's spreading upwards against gravity and up into the branches and up out into the twigs and finally up out into the leaves that we see. So now I invite you to step into that tree and imagine that you are that tree. So imagine that the trunk of your body, your torso, is the trunk of that tree. And if you want to, you can really spread your arms out and imagine that your arms and your head are like the branches of that tree. You can really spread out as far as you like. And if your trees, like my trees, are blowing in the wind, perhaps you can give yourself that kind of movement, knowing that your roots, your feet are planted firmly in a stable and secure place. So just imagine what it is to be like a tree. You may not step or run or swim or fly around, but your rootedness is what gives your branches the ability to move with such a dancer's movement. And then, if you wanted to, you could ask this tree, what do I need to know now? What do I need to know for me to lead a fully nurtured life where my roots support me and my torso gives me an upward movement? And what is it that I'm spreading out into the world through my branches, through my ability to flower, through my ability to give shade or to show movement? What is it? So you might, sometimes people hear a word or sometimes people have a feeling. Sometimes we see a picture. But whatever it is, whatever communication it is that you're receiving, just bring it inside yourself. And then when you're ready, draw your arms back down and just place them around your heart. And imagine that you're taking all of that learning back into the core of your being and that you can access it at a future time when you feel like you really need to have some nurturing. And then when you're ready, just take a very deep breath and open your eyes and give yourself a little shake, inhabiting once again your own human body. Sometimes people like to give themselves a big stretch and a yawn, like that's what yawns are for. They wake us up again. Yeah, thank you. So I wish you all a very beautiful day, or if you're watching this and you're going to go to bed, a very beautiful night with a wonderful restorative sleep. And may you have sweet dreams. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dorota. Such a pleasure to be with you today. Oh, thank you for that. My word was sap, actually. So I'm researching a little bit about sap and what it does in the tree, because now I need to know. So thank you so much.
It would be very interesting to hear what things people experience, but I know that we all get exactly what we need when we
Yeah.
are. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. And I'll talk to you again. I look forward to the next time we connect.
I'm looking forward to that too. Thank you for putting together this beautiful, nurturing retreat. What a wonderful idea to do it online so that people all over the world can connect in this vibration. Well done.
Thank you. That's my hope. And I look forward again to seeing you. And take care for now. Have a wonderful evening meal.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.